Welcome back to the workshop today. We have got a pretty nice looking spring day starting out here. It's almost spring anyway, it's just around the corner. Starting to warm up, people getting ready to do some yard work and whatnot. So yeah, that starts my busier time. Start fixing and repairing. So today's project, first of all, is going to be this rototiller. It's a Troybuilt. It's got a 6.75 horsepower motor on it. It's been around a little while. Customer says that somebody had given it to him at a pretty decent price, so he took it, but it's got some problems. He said he did hear the engine run. The gas cap is got tape over it because it's got a hole in it, so we'll need to put a new gas cap on it. Next problem, he said, when it did, he heard it run. He thought it sounded like there was something grinding or whatever down into the gearbox, something along that line. He's curious about the belt, so we need to check that. It's missing a guard that's supposed to be around this. I don't know. I've kind of looked a little bit at some breakdowns and stuff. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find that guard or not. This thing's, I believe, in my little bit of research I did on it, I think this was like a 2003. So some of the parts are missing. He wants to kind of get it fixed up. Next thing that was wrong, there's supposed to be a handle here. And that handle goes to this spring. And when you pull it on, this is supposed to activate the belt down here to get this thing to move. So we've got to come up with some sort of a handle. I seen one that I think is the one that they want, but that thing was, I don't know, it's 35, 40 bucks, something like that for the little wire across here. So I don't know if we're going to do that or what. We're going to make sure it runs first, make sure the transmission's good, make sure there's nothing really bad noise in there. See if we can find that guard. I think that was another 35, 40 bucks, something like that. When I look for that, the new gas cap, I did go ahead and order one of those, so it should be here. I just put a little bit of gas in there, figuring we'd go ahead and try to start it, and I'm seeing already, just a couple minutes later, there's a puddle of gas on the floor. So looks like the carburetor's going to need some rebuild work because it's not shutting the gas off. So that could be an issue. Anyway, so what we'll want to do, I think, is go ahead. I'm going to take it out here and I'm going to hit it with my super clean cleaner. And we'll go ahead and get this thing cleaned up. It does a good job. I like to work on them clean. So we'll get all that cleaned up and then we'll be able to see what we've got, get the engine, make sure it's going to run good, and see if that transmission sounds like it's something that's repairable or not before we put a whole lot of money in buying guards and that type of thing. So let me get her out here and get her cleaned up. Okay, we've got this one all cleaned up. It looks a little bit better. I got some of the grease and grime off of it. I didn't get all, but it's a whole lot cleaner than it was. Let's see, we've got the gases off after I saw the leak underneath there. So let's go ahead and turn the gas back on and see if we can pull it over and see if she'll... She burned over hard there. That's not good. We shouldn't be pulling that hard. I wonder... I think we might have filled that thing up with gas. That carburetor was leaking, and the carburetor is lower than the cylinder wall, so it's very possible that gas has actually gone in and filled up the cylinder with gas. So we need to get to that and see if we can drain it back out. Let's see what we got to do with that. So let's, I guess, start out. The spark plug on this thing is sitting down in here. Yeah, buried down in there. So we'll go ahead and pop this air filter off. I'm going to need to do that anyways. There we go. Side, and looks like that thing there, holy smoke, yeah, we're gonna need a new filter on that. That's just crunchy, all that stuff. Get down into it, that just plug it up quick as it could be. So we'll have to find us one of those. And there's our spark plug. Let's see if we can, I didn't put that in an easy spot to get to at all. We can break it loose from there. There we go. Alright, let me get us a spark plug wrench and see if I can get down into that thing and take that plug out of there. So we'll go ahead and grab that up real quick. Okay, let's see if we're gonna. I'm gonna need to get some more longer wrenches and whatnot. Let me get this set up, see if I can get down into it. So that, let me get back with you. Okay, I got that out of there, but that was no easy chore. We ended up with a, you can get it, if you come down through here with the extension and whatnot, I ended up using a universal so I can get on an angle a little bit. And then this is a 5/8 plug. So, but you can get down in there, but boy, that thing is awkward. I almost think it might be, take this guard off. There's only about 4 bolts it looks like. So we'll probably end up taking that off of there so I can get down in there just a little bit easier to put it back. The spark plug we got out, it's a little black, but it was very wet. So let's just pull it over and see if she don't turn over a little easier. She might just blow stuff out. Oh yeah, you can see it's full of gas. So that was definitely a problem. We'll have to go ahead and pull that over, and we'll get a little rag to throw over the top of it and soak it up a little bit, and then we'll let it dry out, and then we'll be able to put the plug back in. We'll pull that carburetor off, see if we can't get that cleaned up before we start back up. Okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start dismantling this. We're going to have, first of all, the bolts here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, like I say. Those are all going to be 5/16, and I've got 3 of those out. I can't get to this one here too easily, so to get the carburetor out, we got a screw here, and we're going to take these 2 off and see if we can't. I think we need to take those 2 off of there, and maybe don't need to take those off. That's just going to be for the cover. So it looks like we're just going to have 2 screws up under here, which are going to be your 5/16 also. That should get us the carburetor off and out of the way. And once we get that out of the way, that's tight. I'm going to have to get you a driver on that one. So we'll pull those 2 off, and that should pull the carburetor off. We'll have our breather hose coming off of the top of that. That will pull out the way. That kind of clears up some room and allows me to get in there a little bit easier with a wrench. So let me get a socket wrench on that, and that should pull all that apart. So we'll go with that. Okay, we've got that one loose. We've got those 2 loose. This should just pop out the way. We'll keep all that kind of together. There's our 2 bolts. That gets that out the way and gets us down into our carburetor. Got a couple of leaves here. And it looks like now we can remove that cage the same way. We can get in here to this bolt maybe. Maybe from this direction, or is it going to be? It's going to be no matter which way we go. So let's try a driver. We've got it lined right up just beautifully where we can't get onto it. And this will get us back into the spark plug anyways. Okay. And hopefully that'll get that up off of there. Or do we have another screw? Oh, we got 1 more, it looks like. Boy, they didn't want that to fall off of there. Let me figure out if that's a Torx down in there or what that is exactly. It does look like a Torx. So let's see if it's a T something. Let's remove that one. It's even bigger than that. That's a T25. Let's see if that T30 will get into it. Yep, I think that's it. So looks like a T30 on that. Let's see if I can bust it loose with this, or if we're gonna have to get out some. Okay, we'll have to get some more reinforcement on that one. That one's tight. So let me get a wrench on it. Okay, we got that off of there. That was not an easy task, but hopefully that'll get us where we can at least reach down into the spark plug. Next thing we need to do, we've got our gas here. Let's make sure, yeah, that's in the off position. So we go ahead and let's take this hose off. Just slide one of these clamps up out of the way, and let's see if it can come off of there. Spin it, but it's not wanting to come easy either. Apparently it's been a while since this has been removed for sure. There we go. All right, we'll set that up out the way. All right. The only other thing it's got is a spring and a connector going into this only hole on the top of this carburetor, so that shouldn't be too bad. We'll try to disconnect that once we take the 2 screws out of here. That looks like a Torx also, possibly the same one. Let's see if we can check to see what size we will need. It looks like you can use either a hex wrench or a Torx bit, and that looks like it is a T30 also. So we'll go ahead and take that off. Let's say, hopefully, this will allow us to simply remove this. Spin it around here. Go, and that little spring comes out of the little hole right in front of it. We'll remember to hook that back up, and we'll go to the bench and see what we can do with this here carburetor. Keep in mind all this stuff has to sit back together again. All right, let's get her to the bench. Okay, we have torn the carburetor apart. We've got it on the bench, and it's not looking good at all. We took the bottom out of it. It's all filled with stuff. Been playing with it a little bit. It's rusted up. The this little float down in here is supposed to go up and down and move a little jet that's in there. You can't hardly tell it. It's up underneath that lip. It's not moving at all. The float can kind of go, but it ain't moving that jet. It's got corrosion up in it. So what I have decided, being as that thing is pretty well trashed, I went ahead and got me a new carburetor. So we've got this one. We've matched it up. We made sure everything looks the same. Both sides. Make sure our hole patterns are right. Everything looks good. As you can see, this one here has the choke mechanism has a butterfly on that. This actual stem comes separated from it. Now they've sent me the little plates that go in here, which would just shove in there, but I'm trying to match those up with that. This one here appears to be bigger than the one that was in there. And this one is smaller than the one that was in there. So I think what I'm going to try to do is see if I can get this back out of this one. If it destroys the carburetor, I'm not really too concerned. And then we'll just push it down into here. And this is just a slot here that these would slide down in. And they kind of self-lock onto that. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can get that one out. If we can, I'd rather use that one because we know that's what it was originally set up with. I don't know why they had the 2 different ones. I could drill one of these out if I needed to, but let me do that. It comes with a new gasket kit also. And while I was at it, I did go ahead and order me a new air filter. So it's ready to go. So hopefully, let me fool with this carburetor, see what I can do with that, and see if we can get her cranked up and get her running here pretty shortly. So let me put her together. Okay, for right now, I went ahead and put the 2 screws back in, put the carburetor back on. We got the gas line hooked back up. That's really about all we should need to do for that. Let's go ahead and turn the fuel back on. Make sure she don't flood the carburetor again. We're going to go ahead and make sure this is some sort of throttle adjust. So we're going to leave that up on fast. We've got it choked. I'm going to see if the thing wants to go ahead and fire up. Let's set you up here and we'll see if she'll go. Let's try a little go-go juice to see if she'll pop off. Sometimes we need just a little bit to encourage it. Let's just do that, and then once she gets running, we'll be better off. Let's see if that'll do her. Okay, she does run, and I pulled the thing. That was another concern he had. There's something that's knocking and rattling from the back side while she was running. I don't know exactly if it's hitting something under here or what, but it definitely made a rattle. So we're gonna try to figure out what it's knocking so bad on. So that'll be the next step of it. I don't see anything that's actually hitting, and it don't feel like it's loose. So I'm gonna have to dig into it and see if I can track it down a little bit. Okay, it kind of was stalling out a little bit there after I played with it just a little bit. It's making a knocking noise, like I say, so we're trying to track that down. But I think it was starving for gas, so I went ahead and we pulled off the fuel filter and replaced that. And when I replaced that, that's just a matter of taking the two little clips off and pulling the old one out, putting the new one in here. It's a little bit different style, but it's the same thing. As soon as I turned the gas on, then the hose that was attached to it was leaking. So apparently it had rotted away enough, so we had to replace that. And in order to replace that, you had to take these two screws and this one over here off, and that allowed that panel to come forward enough to where you can get in here to get to a clamp on the side of the shutoff valve. So anyways, we got all that put back together. The gas is on, it's not leaking, it's not coming out the carburetor, so I think we've got all that fixed. Now we can see if the thing's going to actually run and stay running. So we'll start that up, see if that fixed that problem. Okay, the knocking. We were working on the knocking, and I finally have figured out exactly what that knocking was. I run it a little bit more, and as it was running, there's a spot here. I don't know if I can get it turned over enough right here. Notice that was kind of pushed out a little bit, and almost acted like that was a reason for that. And then I got looking a little bit closer, and down here on this little guard, there was a screw or a bolt right here. I don't know if you can see it. That one there, the shiny one. Actually was this black one here, and that black one was too long. So as it was going, I don't know if you can tell that or not, it was actually back in here right up against that thing. So I've shortened it up, and looks like we've got enough clearance now. When we run it, it's not knocking. We put another screw up into that side of it and let it go at that. But now she's running, she's moving, she's doing what she's supposed to do. So we've got that part over with. It runs pretty decent. We're going to go ahead and I think the gas cap should be in today. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can get the muffler all put back on. We've got everything else in there good. And we'll get the air filter back on. And then we'll go ahead and give her a test run and see how she does for tilling up a little soil maybe. Well, I got to apologize. I was hopefully going to go ahead and let you see the rototiller running, but as you can see, the shop is, I got one there. I was just finishing up with it, and the customer run by here and decided that we were done. It was running, it was doing good, and he loaded it right up, so I never did get a chance to video that. So anyways, sorry about that. Everything worked good. We got the thing put back together the rest of the way. It looked like a tiller. It had all its parts. That's the end of that one. So I guess we'll just call that the end of the project, and I appreciate you. I hope you found something interesting in it. Let me know. I read all the comments, and I appreciate them. And any thumbs up, likes, and subscribes are always appreciated also. So that's it. We'll go on to the next project. We've got things on the bench. We'll work on something next. So thanks again. We'll check with you on the next project.